Let's
All
do
right, after show
this.
time, it's just me and Austin.
All right.
Let's go.
Oh, I wanted to do this at the beginning. To all of our wonderful listeners, to hear the full podcast, go to patreon.com/life through fiction. That's patreon.com/life through fiction. Okay. I just wanted to do that at the beginning because the podcast listeners only get the first half.
Oh, okay.
So if they want the whole thing, they got
The
to
whole thing,
pay for that exclusive content
like the whole thing of our conversation.
of this conversation. So the first half
Oh, okay.
I put on the regular podcast, but for the full conversation, you have to go to Patreon.
Oh, well, okay. If you say so.
We've talked about this.
No, I know. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What
Yes,
what have you been
sir.
watching, Andrew? What have you been watching?
It's been a while since we last talked about like
I know.
stuff that we've watched. It's kind of sucks because like I'm trying to like go on Letterbox to check my like diary, but
Yeah.
Letterbox has been like down all morning. Like
Oh
I
shit. Is that
can't
why I
get
can't
into
log
it.
in right now?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it's been down. Like it's not like it's not working.
What
So
the
I
fuck,
can't really.
Letterbox?
Yeah, so it's fucking up really bad. I don't know why. It's just been down like all morning. Who knows how long it's been down. Anyway, whatever. I'm trying to like think of like stuff off the top of my head that I watched.
I saw you
Um,
watched this was like 2 weeks ago, but we didn't talk about this last week. You watched Turning Red, the Pixar movie.
yeah, I watched it.
Why? You said you had no interest in watching this movie, and then you went and
I
watched it.
I for some reason I found myself in the mood to watch it, so I decided to watch it. So I watched it, and it was just whatever. I really have nothing to say about it. It's really just one of those movies where it was just like, you know, I actually am glad I watched it because I thought there was like a lot of interesting stuff going on, like a lot of creativity going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a movie that is not for me. Like that is just a movie that is just does not like I'm good. But it's cool. I didn't mind it at all.
Did you ever watch Mitchell's versus the Machines? I imagine not.
No, like I said, animated
It's
movies. I'm just not. I don't care.
yeah, like kid anime movies. It's basically just a better version of Turning Red, I think. I mean, it has some kind of like similar themes and ideas to it,
Cool.
but it's good. I think it's worth a watch. I think Turning Red's okay. I don't know if it's as good as some people think it is, but that's just me, man. Man, I'm trying to see. I'm trying to use IMDb to see what I've watched lately. I don't really
Damn.
log on because fuck.
IMDb users are winning now. They're winning because their website isn't down in Letterbox too. Letterbox users, sorry, they're done for. The shit won't come on.
It's tragic.
Really sucks. But I still remember stuff. Since the last time we talked, which is like when we talked about Ikiru,
Yeah.
we're a couple episodes behind. But yeah, like the last time I talked, like I think probably if I'm remembering correctly, the best movie that I watched, best movie that I watched for the first time since last time we talked was Kurosawa's High and Low. That was probably the
Mm,
best movie that I've recently watched. One of the
so
best movies I've ever
incredible.
seen. It's the best Kurosawa movie. It's better than Akira. It's better than Seven Samurai. It's perfect. It's
High and
unbelievable.
Low's great.
Yeah, I just have nothing but good things to say about it. It looks amazing. The story's
Mm-hmm.
great. It's kind of like it's a great procedural. Kind of reminds me of like something like Zodiac or something like that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that
Amazing.
ending, ugh, when
Great
he's
ending.
at
One of the
the
greatest endings I've ever seen.
so
When
beautiful.
he freaks
Yeah.
out and he like touches like the bar fence. Oof,
Mm,
fucking kills it, dude. Love it. Um,
awesome.
yeah, just that was probably the best movie that I've watched. Like I said, I can't check my diary, but that was probably, if I'm remembering correctly, the best movie that I watched since the last time that we talked. Which the last time that we talked about this stuff was a while ago. So
It
it's
was a while
been
ago, so there's a lot
so
of
I've watched a
stuff.
lot. I watched a lot of stuff, which I'm not gonna like get into everything, but yeah, I also watched a bunch of movies in theaters the past couple weeks as well, which I think you
What you
have as
see in
well.
theaters?
I saw X.
Okay.
That
How
was
was
all
that?
right. I'm very split on it. I thought it was decent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if you've ever seen a Ty West movie or not.
I don't think
Uh,
so.
he came out with this movie a few years ago called House of the Devil, which isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a new movie, and I'm glad it's in theaters and people can go see it because it's basically like an exploitation movie where these like kids go to like this cabin and they film a porno, and there's like sex and nudity and violence in it. So I'm glad that like a movie like this you can still go to the theaters and watch it.
Yeah.
But I did think it was a little underwhelming, and I thought that like a lot of the stuff was very rehashed. Like I'd seen it plenty of times before,
Mhm.
but I do think it's worth seeing in theaters. Um, I think it was solid, entertaining, pretty good cast, really good violence. Um, Ty West, he's pretty good at like, cutting his movies too. I thought his movies are very well cut. And I thought it had an appropriate level of grime for the most part.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's a pretty good horror movie. I don't think it's something that you would care about, but maybe I'm wrong.
Uh, probably not. I don't know.
Like people
I
like
don't.
teen like people getting like stabbed in the neck and fucking like shot in the face. Like I don't know if you care about that.
Yeah, that's not really like. I mean, I'm not like super into that stuff. I mean, I'm still very much new to the world of horror, so I don't know if I'm quite at the point where Ty West has a whole lot of interest. I mean, we've watched a lot of horror on this podcast, and you've
Yeah,
told me to watch a lot of horror, and I've enjoyed it mostly as a experience as a whole. But I don't know if I'm quite to that yet. I don't know if I'm there yet.
very Texas Chainsaw adjacent movie. It's in
That's what I've heard.
Texas. Um, but yeah, it was a decent movie. I'm just like very like in between on it. It's like I like it's pretty good. Like I didn't hate it, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say how I feel about it, but it's fine. Definitely pretty good. Once again, though, the best movie still that I've seen this year, that have come out this year, is of course still The Undisputed Champion, Jackass Forever. It's better than. I also saw a Dog the other night too. I watched it like a
I,
day or two ago. I saw the
did you
Channing
watch
Tatum
that
Dog
on?
movie.
What'd you watch that on?
I just went to the theater by myself.
You went to a theater to see Dog?
Yeah, I did. I heard it was
Why?
decent. I heard it was
Really?
pretty good. Yeah, I
Was
heard it
it?
was all right. Honestly, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. Like,
Really?
if I'm gonna be honest, honestly, if you are chilling at home, and this is to you
Uh-huh.
and to anyone listening, if you're chilling at home and you're like, fuck, I don't really want to watch anything crazy. Like I just want to watch maybe like a 30, 40, like 190-minute, 100-minute long movie, chill movie. Honestly, if you see it for free on streaming, put it on. It's nice. Channing Tatum he's a good comedic actor.
Yeah.
I think that he co-directed it,
Really? I
and
did not know this.
he co-directed it with a guy who is like a writer on like the Magic Mike movies, which are pretty good.
Okay.
And it's just a decent like Pacific Northwest road trip movie. And it kind of gets into like that cutesy kind of like horse girly kind of
Yeah.
evangelical family shit, and all that's there's like troop shit in it too that's a little nauseating,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's a really like not a bad movie. Like it's not terrible, honestly.
Wow.
Is it worth seeing it in theaters? I don't think so. I just had nothing to do, and I felt like watching like kind of like I just felt like watching something, and I haven't seen Batman yet because I want to see that with Delilah, and we
Yeah.
just haven't gotten around to it. So I was like, what's something, just like go to the theater, go see Dog. Like I said, there were some people that I trust that said it was pretty good. Totally fine. Not amazing,
Wow.
not great, not like the best thing I've ever seen, very far from it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of it was fine, you know. Like I said,
I would.
if you're home,
Yeah.
throw it on, chill. You know.
I I am shook. I'm shook to my core. I would never have expected that to be a film that's
I mean,
just.
it's just like they don't fucking make movies like that anymore. I'd rather watch that than any Marvel movie, because Marvel movies are fucking big, loud, annoying, and shitty, and they're not funny
Mhm.
at all. And this movie was actually kind of funny and kind of fun and enjoyable. So
Nice.
yeah,
No, I'm down with kind of those like middle of the road, not necessarily independent, but kind of like your mid-budget kind of film. Like, good for them. I'm glad those kind of films exist still, because those kind of films so often they get buried, and especially now, I
yeah,
think they're becoming fewer and far between. So good
Yeah.
for. I mean, perhaps would the film be made without a Channing Tatum like character behind it or actor? I don't know, but at least the film still exists. So there is that.
Yeah, and Tatum's a good actor. He's a good
I like
comedic
Tatum.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine. He's pretty good. And there's a lot of like interesting casting decisions in the movie throughout. But yeah, that's all about Dog.
I feel like I haven't really watched that many movies.
You saw Batman.
I think Batman's the only movie other than the ones we've watched for the podcast I've watched the last couple of weeks.
Oh wow, okay.
I've been so
Batman.
well, we've been busy because we're in the process of building a movie theater. So
Yeah.
apparently that takes a lot of time and effort, apparently. So I
Yes,
haven't had
sir.
a lot of movie time or TV show time, to be honest. I haven't watched any Sopranos since we last talked either. Like
Shit.
that's how I know. But
Well, I guess
I
this
don't
is
know.
going to be a short episode.
Well, I watched other stuff, just not Sopranos. Should we talk about the Batman or should we wait till you've seen it?
You can like, I don't know, you can give your thoughts about it. Like just
Okay.
like no
I'll talk a
spoilers, I
little bit.
guess,
I'm not
if you
yeah,
can.
yeah, I'm not going to give like any spoilers or anything like that. But I'll say obviously I have not seen a lot of the Batman movies, so keep all of that in perspective. I've only seen the Batman movies from 2000 moving forward. I've seen some of the animated stuff. I never saw the animated series, like the Dark Knight animated series or the Batman animated series. I can't remember what it's called. I've heard a lot of good
Yeah.
things about it though. But I think Rob Pat is probably one of my favorite Batmans. I find him to be the most probably broken of the Batmans, which I kind of like. I mean, of course, like all the Batmans have their own thing, but I think with most of the Batmans is they're almost always like these very traditionally handsome, good-looking kind of heroes. And of course they're like broken because of childhood or whatever. Yeah, they're all like, these ripped badass superheroes. But what I like
I don't know.
about Rob
Michael
Pat,
Keaton wasn't all that ripped.
that's true.
He was
Yeah,
kind
but
of a skinny guy.
he was still pretty fit though. He was like ripped for like the time. Like what was that like?
Sure.
Like during like
80s.
his period, like like he was like 80s ripped. You know what I mean?
I suppose so. Yeah.
I think what I like about Rob Pat's Batman is, and it's not just like the physicality because Rob Pat is kind of just this skinny, scrawny guy in the film, but it's the way he portrays himself. Like all the other Batmans and Bruce Waynes are these, kind of rich playboy billionaires, where
That's
Rob
right.
Pat is like this socially anxious virgin that
Yeah.
and what's interesting about this one is he's actually more comfortable as Batman than he is Bruce Wayne. So in the film, you almost never see him as Bruce Wayne. And whenever he is Bruce Wayne, it feels as if Bruce Wayne is the costume and Batman is like when he actually feels himself. And he just looks so tired all of the time. And I love that. I love just like how sad and tired he is through the whole film. So having said that, I think some of the things about the new Batman movie are a little overrated. People are like, this is the best Batman movie ever. I don't know about that. It's probably not as good as The Dark Knight, or perhaps, I mean, it's not as good as the Lego Batman movie, which I would argue is the best Batman movie. But there's a lot of good things to say about it. I mean, I love the whole detective side of it. Like, it's the real first Batman movie where he's like actually a detective and he does detective work, which is supposed to be like his whole thing. Like, he's actually smart in this, which is nice. The ending, which I won't get into, I think falls flat a bit. But overall, I mean, there's some great performances. I like the villains in this. I love Batman. I love Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Go.
I think it's got a lot going for it, and I'm interested to see where the franchise goes. It feels a lot like a kind of Batman Begins situation, and there's some very similar setups that I won't spoil,
Man,
but
I don't. You need to stop making these movies. I'm still gonna go see it, but man, like just like
They're not
another
gonna stop.
trilogy shit.
They're never gonna stop. They're gonna make Batman movies forever. It's like what I mean. Batman was one of the first superhero movies, wasn't it?
I guess. Yeah.
And probably like 1960s. What would have come before
I
that?
guess so. Yeah. If we're going back to Adam West, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. I guess. Yeah.
they're never gonna stop.
I'll go see it. It's just like I don't know. I just been really putting it off lately, seeing it, but I will eventually see it.
Yeah.
I'm way more excited for the release of Ambulance, the new Michael Bay movie, this Friday. As of
Is it coming
recording
out
this
this
episode,
Friday?
comes out this Friday, baby. Oh, and Morbius. Who could forget? Are you gonna see Morbius, Austin? Hashtag hashtag Morbius.
The Sony universe, the
Please,
Sony cinematic
I've already
universe.
seen Morbius 5 times. I've watched it 5 times in the theater. Gets better and better every time you see it. I love Jared Leto as Morbius, the titular Morbius. Um, he's awesome, really great guy. Yeah, I'm assuming you've also seen it at least a few times, right? At this
Oh
point,
yeah, I've gone to the theater every single day
interesting.
since it's come out.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Jared
you,
Leto is
on,
just one of the greats, really.
yeah, definitely movie of the year. Um, and already pre-ordered the Blu-ray 4K.
On the Criterion
Um,
Collection, of course.
Criterion Collection, yeah, it's on Criterion Collection. It's got the commentary track with Jared Leto, which I'm really excited for. To kind of get into Jared Leto's mind to see where he kind of came up with the character of Morbius. Yeah, I'm really excited to see it again. Right when we get off. So yeah, Morbius. I lied. I mean, yeah, I lied earlier about Jackass Forever. Actually, the best movie of the year is Morbius for
It's
sure that I've
Marvelous.
seen so far. Yeah, it's Morbius. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? I did watch a few movies this last couple of weeks. I remember I was on a plane and
Okay.
I couldn't do anything else. And so the planes, they offer like free movies like through their like internet access or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do I watch? Like I don't know what to watch. The first thing I watched was a kids movie. Because I've wanted to see it for a long time, which is Ron's Gone Wrong, which Zach Galifianakis plays like it's basically a horror film, but for kids. And basically the idea, have you ever heard of this film
Cool.
before? It came out like a year or two ago.
Yeah. Once again, not gonna see it, but I know it exists.
So basically, right, the premise of this film is it's like the near future
It's got a
and
robot.
basically Apple, right? It's basically just another form of Apple. They've built these robots that become like your best friend, and everyone has one. Like literally every single kid that's like 10 years old, and they're just obsessed with these things. It's absolutely terrifying. And of course, the only way this kid can be happy is if he has one too. But of course, the twist, his is broken, placed by Zach
No.
Galifianakis. Uh, very enjoyable performances, very funny, very silly. I appreciate that the bad guy ends up being the CEO of Apple. Like, I
Let's
think that's a
go.
good message to send to kids because
Kill
it's
him.
based. They literally just got like a mix between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. Like that's what is like. If you look at his the animated guy, it's basically just like a mix of those two people, and that's like his character arc too. Like he's basically just like this Bill Gates, Steve Jobs guy, and he's the villain. It's like nice. I appreciate we're teaching children that these multi-billionaires tech
Go.
companies are the villains. But then the weird thing is that at the end of the movie, like they fix the robots to like be unique or whatever, but everyone still has a robot. So it's not
They need to destroy them and get rid of them.
it's a very like the messaging of the film is very confusing because on one end it's like don't spend your life online, you know, love your family, all that shit. But at the other time it's like buy Apple
By
products. I mean,
robot.
it's not buy it's basically it's some strange messaging, but I enjoyed the film. Like I had a good time. It's sweet. I like kids movies because they just the stakes aren't very high And after just talking about The Wall, like my whole thing was like the stakes were too high. Sometimes I don't want high stakes, especially when I'm on a plane. Like I don't want to watch something with high stakes on the plane. Like you don't want that shit.
I do.
You don't want to like go in a plane crash like 3/4 the way through a movie and like not know how that ends. You don't want that kind of shit. But it's enjoyable. It's fun. I don't think you would like it because it's a kids movie and the messaging is weird.
Dubious.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Okay.